ACC on ESPN. It's a big Monday from the Dome in Syracuse, New York. The hottest team of the ACC looking to keep it rolling. Tony Bennett's Virginia Cavaliers have won 6 in a row. Jim Boeheim's Syracuse Orange in dire need of a quality victory. It's a whiteout from the Stutes, and look who's in the house. Jalen Hurts. He has just won the NFC Championship with the Eagles. Dave O'Brien alongside Corey Alexander and Andre Carter as well. Great to see you, Corey. We've talked about Clemson, how good they've been in the ACC all season long. But here comes Virginia. Not unexpected how good they were going to be.
No surprise that the Virginia Cavaliers have gotten better. And they went through a stretch between December 17th and January 3rd where they lost 3 out of 5 games. But now they're healthy once again. Tony Bennett likes his chances every time his team touches the floor.
Jim Boeheim, of course, in the Hall of Fame. Tony's plaque is soon to be carved and ready to be hung one day. 2 great coaches. And we are underway as the Orange win the opening tip. They come in 13-9, 6-5 in the conference. Virginia rolling at 16-3, and a quick theft by Franklin and a block out of the sky. The return shot won't go by Jaden Gardner, but a quick start here defensively, which you expect from the Cavaliers.
You absolutely do, and Armand Franklin doing a great job just getting into Chris Bell's airspace, stripping the basketball away. And Armand Franklin, of course, we know he's been playing so much better offensively, but he's been better defensively as well, which has afforded Tony Bennett an opportunity to keep him on the floor.
And they're one of the great defensive teams in the country. A quick substitution here for Boeheim is he's going to get Justin Taylor in the game. By the way, Benny Williams, the 6'9 sophomore, is not here. He is not only not in the lineup, he is not on the bench. And Jim Boeheim will address that situation after the game, from what I'm told.
Right now, Justin Taylor getting minutes into the game. Bell a little lackadaisical early, and Jim Boeheim with a short leash for any plays as such.
So Taylor, who's a Charlottesville native. Right into the paint. Edwards on the spin and a traveling violation. So Syracuse with the turnover. You give a look at the lineup now, brought to you by Kay Jewelers. Kihei Clark really playing well. You talked about Franklin. Reese Beekman, is he 100%?
He's about 90% right now, not 100%, but playing very good basketball as of late. Bennett Van der Plas in the starting lineup, starting his 5th straight game for Virginia, and they are different with him in the starting lineup.
Van der Plas could really stick that 3 as a team to make 39%. Shot clock is down to 9. Gardner kicks it out and stolen away. Taylor with the pick. In transition, lost the handle on it, but was knocked out of bounds by Virginia. Their starting lineup now for Syracuse, brought to you by Kay Jewelers. We talked about Malik Brown a little bit. He's into the lineup as a starter for the 2nd straight time by Jim Boeheim. He started him in their last game. Even though they lost that game at Virginia Tech, he gave him some early life.
And you mentioned Justin Taylor from Charlottesville, Malik Brown, another freshman right up the road in Culpeper, Virginia. So some Virginia flavor for the Orange.
Taylor tosses that one to the backcourt and just threw it away. So it'll go back over to Virginia. Cavaliers are coming off that victory over Boston College. They have lost to number 5 Houston by 2 on the road to a good Miami team, and by 3 at Pittsburgh. Pitt's a great story in the conference.
They absolutely are. Jeff Capel running neck and neck with Brad Brownell for ACC Coach of the Year. As Jaden Gardner sticks that baseline jumper, that mid-range, he's dangerous from there. Got to account for him against the zone.
So Virginia's 3 losses are by a combined 13 points. They have jumped up 1 spot in the national rankings this week, up to number 6. Mintz on the penetration, got it airborne for 2. He has a variety of ways to score.
He absolutely does. And Judah Mintz had 18 points in the game January 7th against Virginia. He had some success offensively, and that was a close game. He and Joe Girard did their thing. They didn't get much help up front.
Clark back out for Franklin. EA running the point. Feels like he's been around forever. Franklin sticks it. Nice start here for the Cavs.
And that's why Tony Bennett loves Kihei Clark in the middle of that zone. Rarely would you see a 5'10" guy in the middle of the zone, but he's such a great playmaker, and of course always finding his guys on the perimeter.
It's looking for room to operate. Nobody downstairs. He wanted Edwards. Edwards coming off a game where he's plagued by foul trouble. The bounce speed doesn't get there, and Clark comes up with it.
Obi, when Syracuse has struggled, turnovers have been the thing that have done them in often. Already starting out this game with 3 early turnovers against the stingy Virginia defense.
Vanderplas kicks it. They move the ball so effectively, really one of the great passing teams in the country, and that's on the money by Vanderplas.
And that's one of the areas where Virginia's had so much success versus Syracuse in this zone is their ability to shoot the 3. Had a school record 18 3-point field goals made in this building back in 2019. That year, Virginia also won a national championship.
Timeout, 16:43 to go first half. Virginia out front by 8.
Bennett Vanderplas makes this Virginia starting lineup different because he's able to space the floor. You see Reese Beekman attacking the paint. We know Reese Beekman is a great passer, but when you've got guys that can knock down threes, it makes great passers great assist men. One of the reasons why Reese Beekman is one of the top of the ACC, and one of the reasons why Virginia is so much more dangerous as of late.
Such an unselfish team, these Cavaliers. They lead the ACC in assists per game. Gerard dumping it downstairs, and a nice drive there on the baseline. Malik Brown, the freshman, got his first career start over the weekend, 11 points and 6 rebounds against the Hokies.
Obi, when we were at practice yesterday, Jim Boeheim told Jesse Edwards, we want them to double team you. You will create opportunities for your teammates if you accept that double team, handle the basketball, and get it out of there.
Trip there and a foul with 16-12 to go in the half. And that'll go against Malik Brown, his first. Virginia got as high as number 2 in the national poll in early December. They've always played well here under Tony Bennett. 5-2 all time in the Dome.
They absolutely have. And Tony Bennett, of course, Virginia winning 8 of their last 9 matchups versus Syracuse. And this is a rivalry, Obi. People may not recognize it. This is a rivalry as Jaden Gardner knocks down the mid-range jumper that goes way back into the 80s. These two teams met up a couple times in the NCAA tournament. But in 2016, Syracuse knocked Virginia out in Elite 8, advancing to the Final Four, which made this a rivalry in all eyes of Virginia fans.
Indeed. Expecting about 20,000 here at the Dome tonight. Yes, it's snowing a little bit. There's Gerard and his first 2. Joe averaging 17 a game. And 19 points in the first meeting against Virginia on January 7th, which the Cavaliers took 73-66.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't you go to school here? Jaden Gardner, another mid-range jumper along that baseline. Did you just call this snow?
A little bit. I mean, just a tiny bit. By the way, you went to Virginia where I think it snowed twice in all the years you were there. Maybe. Nice feed underneath by Edwards. He finds the open man. He gets Brown for the dunk.
And Edwards doing a great job accepting the double team, staying strong when he has the basketball in his hands and delivering it. The problem for Syracuse right now is they can't stop Virginia on this end of the floor.
We came to the Dome today for the shoot-arounds, and Andrea said, man, it's cold outside. And you said, this is like a spring day in Syracuse, New York, and you were exactly right.
I've hung out here quite a bit. You know, Dre, she's from Atlanta. She's from the South. She's got the thin blood. She's got to stick around up here a little while longer.
I don't think that's going to happen. Get back to Atlanta, where it's probably about 65 today. On the drive, Mintz with a spin and another pretty shot, and he'll hit a lot of them when he's getting rolling.
And Syracuse can have success against Virginia as long as they're not turning the basketball over. Shooting a very good percentage from the field when they get shots at the rim.
On the D, that one's tapped away. Brown getting very active really on both ends of the floor.
And when you talk about being better from the field, Syracuse 5 for 5 from the field. When they're getting shots, they're having success.
Starting to hit them, and have closed the gap to 4. Drea's wordplay coming up when we return.
Welcome back to Syracuse, and for those at home that don't know, our producer Kim Belton spent time in the NBA, but before that he graduated from Stanford University, and he teaches us things all the time. What we learned today was the word Cerberus, and what does that mean? It is a 3-headed monster. You'll see that for Virginia, starting with Reese Beekman, who finishes big on the inside. Kihei Clark is such a veteran. It is said that he roomed with Corey Alexander at Virginia back in the day. Great basketball IQ. And then Armaan Franklin, a true 3-and-D kind of player, defends at a high level, leads the team in three-point field goals. This group of three, guys, a true Cerberus. If you didn't know, now you know.
Wow. Wow, rolling out. That's usually a Kim Belton Stanford word right there.
Yeah, that was in the thesaurus when Kihei and I were living on the lawn together. We would check that out every now and then.
I was going to say, lights out at 9 between you guys every night. Good soldiers out of the corner. Girard can't cash in.
First missed shot for Syracuse, but the offensive rebound, Jesse Edwards with the energy on this, getting his team the second chance.
Edwards lost it, but it's going to be kicked out of bounds by Virginia.
Earlier,
the 6'11" senior.
We saw Jesse Edwards accepting the double team. Virginia going to go after him when he gets the basketball in his hands, but a great job accepting and keeping his eyes up toward the rim, finding Malik Brown for the dunk. And once again, Jim Boeheim said, we want them to double team. You're going to get your teammates open shots if you're strong with the basketball when they come with the double team. Virginia's notorious for the double team in the post.
Once again, quickly done to Brown. He's off to a really nice start here tonight. And they're finding him.
They are. Syracuse sharing the basketball, passing extremely well. Outside of the turnovers, they have operated very well on the offensive end of the floor.
So Jim Boeheim's team bouncing back nicely after digging themselves an early hole. Isaac McNeely, a freshman, in for Tony Bennett. Beekman. Here's Clark. Shot clock down to 2, and he turned it over on a travel. 14-12, Virginia. Our ACC SEC Super Tuesday doubleheader coming your way. 7 o'clock Eastern, Duke hosting Wake at Cameron Indoor. Then it's Kentucky taking on Ole Miss. Both games are on ESPN and the app.
Big game in Durham tomorrow. Wake Forest beat the Blue Devils in Winston-Salem. Duke going to try to return the favor tomorrow, but Tyree Appleby playing great basketball for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Shedrick, nice save there on the baseline. Clock outside. He thought about a long one. Keeps on driving. Flipped it up as he draws the foul. As he is hit by Jesse Edwards. Take a look at those standings now. Clemson at 10-1. In my mind, even though they're up to 20 now in the poll, they're still not getting enough love nationally, maybe even inside a conference. And there's Virginia at 8-2.
I agree. And when you consider the fact that Clemson, over the past couple of weeks, has won 2 out of 3 games without their starting point guard, Chase Hunter, out of the mix. Of course, Alex Hemingway, Brevin Galloway still not back with the team. So what Brad Brownell has been able to do with not even a full roster has been spectacular. When we talked about Tyree Appleby, Hunter Tyson playing first team all ACC basketball, possibly in that ACC Player of the Year mix.
Once again, the Peterson Events Center, Pittsburgh, is becoming a hot ticket, as it was for so many years, because Pitt is a dangerous team.
The Oakland Zoo is rocking. Give Jeff Capel and his crew a lot of credit for what they've been able to do thus far this season, especially in ACC play.
Beekman mid-range. Rebound knocked away. Here comes Girard on the attack. Syracuse guard out of Glens Falls, New York. Mintz slamming on the brakes. 2 more for him.
Smart play by Judah Mintz, knowing he's going up against a very intelligent defender in Kihei Clark. Does not try to go through the body, goes around him, uses his size to score over top.
Mintz, the freshman, had a strong individual game at Virginia Tech, 21 points and 8 assists, but a defeat for SU, and they've been having a very difficult time picking up quality wins. 0-4 in quad ones, and that's going to be a dunk right along the baseline. As Caden Shedrick got loose.
And that's one of the things that Virginia will look for with Shedrick in the game, that they don't have that opportunity with Vanderplas. Caden Shedrick, one of the better athletes you'll find in the front court in the ACC.
Excellent shot blocker as well. Girard from 17. Rebound picked up by Brown, really playing well. Girard gets another one, this time a triple. One-point game here in the Dome. And another slam, and once again it's Shedrick beating everybody to the rim.
But it's a different dimension when you think about Virginia, and of course you've got to, applaud the intelligence of Kihei Clark. He wasn't even looking for that when Van der Plas was on the back line.
Pass here to Edwards, slapped away. And Syracuse will keep it done, got a hand on it. The play heating up here.
Judah Mintz attacking the basket, going to the mid-range, finding his way to shoot over the top. And speaking of over the top, Kihei Clark to Caden Shedrick. Worked so nice, they had to do it twice.
Back at Syracuse, Virginia on top by 3. Tonight's Need to Know brought to you by Pro Price. And you look at this, 69-61 against Houston, 66-64 in Miami, and then at Pittsburgh 68-65. So 3 very close losses. Nice wins over number 5 Baylor and top 20 Illinois on that schedule. But combined 13 points in those defeats for Tony Bennett.
Yeah, and we talked with Tony Bennett about that earlier, about that stretch. And really after the Miami game, he challenged his team before they went home for the holiday break and pretty much told these guys, hey, you have to be different when you come back. And one of those guys that's been different is Armaan Franklin. Andrea, you talked with Armaan a little bit about that earlier. What did he tell you about that time frame for him?
Yeah, Corey, he said that Coach Bennett's words really hit home with him. And when he went home for Christmas break, he spent the days with his family and he spent the nights in the gym with his trainer. He said he got up extra shots, spent a lot of time in the gym. And then when he got back to campus, before practice, after practice, he's been in the gym with his coaches. He really took that challenge to heart to be more of an offensive threat, Corey. And you've seen that.
Absolutely. And it's paid off for him. 16.8 points per game. During the last 9 games, he's become Virginia's leading scorer as he picks up the foul in that possession. But it hasn't been all about his offense. It's been about his defense as well. Tony Bennett trusts him much more on the floor defensively, which allows him to stay on to get those offensive looks.
Franklin trying to slow down Judah Mintz. Easier said than done. He forces a lot of fouls, about 5.5 a game. Taylor got a great look, and he buried the 3.
And that's a big bucket for a number of reasons. Justin Taylor, who's great friends with Tony Bennett's son, Eli, and these 2 guys went to high school together. Justin absolutely considered coming to Virginia, but he said he fell in love with this place.
Another one, sky-high pass, this time by McNeely, and out it goes. Looking for another alley-oop. Virginia's had a couple here early. Looking for Gerard to make a cut. Freshman to another freshman. Scooped up by Taylor. 6 to get off a shot. Nice fake. He earned that basket.
He absolutely did. His hustle play of coming up with the loose basketball gave him an opportunity to go get a bucket. And Justin Taylor playing with a lot of confidence. He's got a 25-point game on the season. He's not shy offensively.
Plus back in over the last couple of minutes. At 5 on the shot clock, that'll clang away and come right to Mintz. Syracuse is pretty much dominated all day long by Virginia Tech. That's not happening today, and that'll spin in for Judah Mintz, and that'll put Syracuse on top for the first time tonight. And that'll get the crowd alive in the building. McNeely with a triple. Edwards back for Mintz into the paint. He likes that shot on the run. Well, the youngster, Judah Mintz, leading the way for Jim Boeheim's team in a 9-0 run. Trying to find some room in that zone. Can't get it done. Mintz looking to beat everybody. Flips it up there. Can't make the shot.
And Virginia has numbers here. Judah Mintz out of the play. Will they play quickly? K.A. Clark lining up the 3-ball. Obi, that's a big bucket. And because of Judah Mintz running so hard, falling out of bounds, Virginia had a 5-on-4 coming back. It was difficult for Mintz to get back into play. K.A. Clark able to stop the bleeding. But right now, the Orange have momentum on their side.
Tied at 26. Edwards going in strong with that right hand, but that bounces away. And a timeout with 6:37 to go. And this one knotted up 26-26. Number 6 Virginia and Syracuse.
Obi, this game is about youth and experience. Virginia has the experience, Syracuse has the youth, but you see the split between the freshmen and seniors. Syracuse getting production from both here tonight.
Attention kids, club members.
The freshmen typically play well at home, don't they?
They absolutely do, and the senior, Joe Girard, stepping it up early, 5 points for him. But he's the only upperclassman with a basket, with a point, because it's been 21 points from 3 Orange freshmen that have gotten them to the 26-point tie with Virginia right now. Judah Mintz with 10 of those points. He has been spectacular early, and he continues to grow and get better under the tutelage of Jim Boeheim as this season has gone along.
And as a playmaker, maybe not his natural way to go.
It's not, and this is the first time, we talked with Judah in practice yesterday. This is the first time he's played the point guard position full time. In high school, he was never the point guard, and he's learning on the fly, but giving an opportunity to be able to, learn on the fly. And Dre, you were a point guard your entire life. How difficult do you think this is for a guy like Judah to be able to do this mid-season?
Oh, I think it's very difficult to switch that mindset. That's something that Joe Girard actually went through. He was a dynamic scorer in high school, and he had to learn to be the point guard when he got to Syracuse. So it is definitely a process. But, Corey, Judah Mintz has been ACC Freshman of the Week 3 times. Kyle Filipowski of Duke 7 times. Do you think Judah Mintz can make a push for it?
I think he can make a push for it, but that push is going to have to happen with the Orange making a push to become a tournament team. There's going to be a lot of success necessary for that to happen. So we see another first year. That's what they call it at Virginia. We don't use freshmen.
That's right.
But Isaac McNeely stepping up, knocking down the 3-ball.
I know who came up with that idea, too. That was a gentleman by the name of Thomas Jefferson.
Heard of him.
Yes. Edwards pounded his way inside. Got a great look. And it kicks out, and it's going to go the other way. It'll be Virginia basketball.
Obi, one of the things you've noticed as of late, Virginia no longer double-teaming Jesse Edwards. Syracuse and Jesse Edwards handled the trap so well. Tony Bennett adjusting, now allowing Bennett Vanderplas to guard him one-on-one. This is the time where Edwards has to take advantage of that matchup.
McNeely giving it up. The freshman has played well here in the opening half. He's hit some shots. Moving it around here for Franklin. In and out. I'm talking to Tony Bennett about shooting in the dome. And I said, you guys have shot well here in the past. That's over the top for Edwards. Made a nice catch. Bottled up, though, in the double team. And I said, do you ever talk to your guys about how to do it in the dome? Anything special about it? He said, I've never said a single word about shooting here.
And of course, they've shot well here, so he probably never will.
I think you're right. With 5 on the shot clock, Mintz off the back iron. So 4:26 remaining in the half. It's Virginia by 3. They're trying to win their 7th consecutive game. Batted back to Beekman. The turn and shot by Gardner. He was hot early. Chris Bell getting ready to check back in for Boeheim. Taylor lost it, went down, lost it again.
Virginia sharing the basketball, moving the rock, and making Syracuse work on the defensive end of the floor. You watch it. 1, we speed it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 passes for the Isaac McNeely 3. a great possession for the Hoos.
Jeep halftime report is on the way. Coming up, we'll look ahead to the second game of our doubleheader, a top 11 matchup, plus impressions from an impressive weekend in the Big 12. Hans, how has Syracuse gotten back in this?
Well, they've gotten back into it by not turning the basketball over. They had 4 turnovers early. Virginia had 7 off of those. Good friend of mine told me that teams, sometimes a game just takes time to just settle in, and they've certainly settled in.
That guy is brilliant, by the way, Fonz. I like that right now Virginia's getting a bigger body in the middle of that zone so can see over. Keon Clark in there, he can't see over the defense. Vanderplas, he can see over it and score it. I like that adjustment.
Back to Obi and Corey in the Dome.
Our NBA Wednesday doubleheader starts in Boston. Jason Tatum and the Celtics hosting Kyrie and the Nets at 7:30. And Trae Young leading the Hawks against Chris Paul and the Suns. Coverage NBA Countdown at 7.
Virginia has been a program that has put multiple players in the NBA as of late. And, of course, when you think NBA and you think Syracuse, you've got to look at my little brother. I call him Little CA, even though he's the big CA. Carmelo Anthony, top 75 of all time, and can still play. Somebody needs to bring him in ASAP.
Man, it changed everything on this campus when he was here for Jim Boeheim, and of course won the national championship in 2003. That's going to be a traveling violation. Virginia's still by 3. Both teams have all of a sudden shut it down offensively.
Of course, when we go to practice here, you go to the Carmelo K. Anthony Center, which has been a tremendous contribution to this basketball program from Melo.
Yeah, it's a very nice check from, as you say, Little CA. And going to go the other way. Syracuse benefits on the turnover.
Symir Torrance coming in, making a difference early. Jim Boeheim is happy with the way Torrance has played, especially as of late, really giving them much more of a defensive presence, but also trust him with the basketball in his hand, running the point when Judah Mintz or Joe Girard goes to sit down.
Torrance, a Syracuse native in his own right. Edwards, nice spin and one.
That's what has to happen. If you're Jesse Edwards and now Virginia decides they're not going to come with the post trap, you've got to be able to win that matchup. Edwards, who struggles often with his back to the basket, but when he faces up and can see everything going on with the floor, now he has a different dimension to be able to get to his spots and score over the top of the smaller defenders.
Vanderplas, that man to foul him. And a three-point play for the 6'11 senior from Amsterdam. And tied at 29 under 3. You're not going to be shocked if this comes down to the last shot tonight.
Not at all. Syracuse in this building, a much better team, and they are up for the challenge against the Hoos.
Beekman, nothing there. Downstairs, something there, and a great play to get it into Gardner.
And the Syracuse faithful, Jim Boeheim included, wanting a walk on that possession. Gardner saw the ACC's best shot blocker, and Edwards coming over.
In fairness, Jim Boeheim had that look on his face at 5 o'clock. 2:17 to go in the half.
See, you're a Syracuse alum. You can say that. I can't talk about my guy like that.
Well, it's a classic.
But you see the kick go to Jaden Gardner, who finds the spot under the basket. But checking where Jesse Edwards is, he does dribble that basketball, which I think alleviates the travel. Jim Boeheim wouldn't agree with that.
Jim in year 47. No coach in the country has been at their current school longer than Jim.
And I am leading the charge. I am trying to make Boeheim 50 happen. He will not, I agree, play along with it
he won't
right
commit,
now.
Right? But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
How about that? Virginia with assists on all 11 of its made field goals in this game. That is sharing the sugar, as my man D.O.B. would say.
Edwards, shot clock inside 10. Going right at it again and lays it in, and so far too much for Vanderplas to handle.
But Tony Bennett's going to have a decision to make. Will they bring the post trap, which Syracuse has shown they're ready for, or is he going to play Caden Shedrick to defend Jesse Edwards? Because right now, Ben Vanderplas struggling to defend Syracuse big man.
Clark to the lane. Yes, that's a pretty move.
It is. PA kind of snuck that one by Jesse Edwards. I'm not sure Jesse was expecting the shot to go up so quickly.
Kihei, by the way, came in number 2 all-time in the ACC in minutes played. And if he plays every second of the first half, he becomes number 1. Torrance over the top, and Edwards with the dunk. 33 all. And this is the loudest the building has been yet. Beekman checked his feet. Shot clock to 10. Gardner. Vanderplat back out. There's Clark on the move again. Here's Beekman from the corner, right in front of the shot clock.
Talking with associate head coach Adrian Autry earlier today, he said Virginia is the most poised team under 5 seconds on the shot clock that you will ever see.
That's a great point.
And they showed it once again on that possession.
So patient.
Absolutely.
Right down to the nub on the shot clock. So Syracuse getting up the last shot. They hope Torrance will lay it in. There's time here for Virginia to get off a bit of a heave. Franklin way downtown, and that's it. And a very entertaining first half here inside the Dome with Virginia leading Syracuse 36-35.
But the momentum is on the side of the Orange. Happy with the way they played here in this first half, especially on the offensive end of the floor.
Let's go to Dre with Coach Bennett.
Coach, 26 points in the paint for Syracuse. How do you limit that in the second half?
Yeah, we did not do a good job. They scored inside. They got there off the dribble and offensive rebounds. We got to fix it. And either we got to come together and defend, or it's going to be tough. And that was disappointing because we started out the game well defensively, but that doesn't mean too much if you can't sustain it.
And offensively, a lot of patience that last possession for the 3 by Reese Beekman. But how do you get Armand Franklin going in the second?
Yeah, we just got to get good shots. I think you got to try to dent it off penetration, move a little more. We got a bit stagnant, and that zone has done that to a lot of people. But we got to regroup and try to be a lot more stingy defensively.
Coach, thank you.
Great, Tony. Thank you very much. Looking forward to a very fun second half here on a big Monday. Virginia 36, Syracuse 35. Let's go to the studio. Kev Fonz and Seth.
All right, OB, Virginia.
Back inside the Dome, a 1-point game here on our big Monday. It's Virginia, number 6 in the country, 36, Syracuse 35. Dave and Corey and Andrea with you. Very entertaining first half. It didn't start out well for Syracuse, but in a gritty way, they got right back in it.
They absolutely did that, and they were able to do it by attacking the paint. They beat Virginia up in the painted area, and Virginia, of course, normally stingy defensively, unable to get it done on that end of the floor, but offensively, they have been stellar once again. Virginia is the best team nationally with under 5 seconds on the shot clock. You see the patience, the poise that they display. 2.3 remaining on the shot clock, no problem for Reese Beekman, who knocked down the corner 3 ball. And when you think about the Orange, they start the game out with the upperclassmen getting it done in Joe Girard. Then Judah Mintz scores 10 points, gets hot, and then the big man, Jesse Edwards, steps up to end the quarter. One of the reasons why Syracuse is within 1 at the break.
Virginia from the outside, 6 out of 10 from three-point land. Actually, both teams shot the ball really well in the first 20 minutes.
And look at the field goal percentage, 62 and 64% respectively. This does not happen in Virginia games. We have had games here where Virginia and Syracuse have scored 36 points for an entire game. They're right there at halftime here today. They found something offensively that works.
So second half underway, Virginia with the basketball. Coming in with a 6-game win streak. Clark runs it down in the corner. And that's going to be off Gardner and back over to Syracuse.
Syracuse started the game with a possession on a turnover, their first possession. Chris Bell checked out after that, has not been back in. Justin Taylor has been on the floor for the Orange. Now Virginia starts the second half with a first possession turnover.
Judah Mintz with 10 points to lead the way for the Orange. Taylor gave up the dribble, shot clock to 8. Back to Taylor. It's not a good idea to leave him wide open like that, but he can't hit Clark getting it down low. Van der Plas underneath. Here's Franklin. Clark to drive it. Slapped out by Taylor on the block. And so Virginia from the baseline to check it in. Syracuse in dire need of a big win. This would certainly qualify as their biggest of the season.
And OB, Syracuse is running out of opportunities to get quad one wins. This is a great opportunity for them on their home floor.
Boy, that's a tough shot. Up and in by Reese Beekman. Part of the Tony Bennett Wisconsin connection, as is Van der Plas. So it's Virginia by 3. Gerard with a bounce. Edwards feeding in the paint, and a foul on the play as Malik Brown got hit. And that personal foul will go against Armaan Franklin, number 2 on Franklin. And let's go to Dre.
Thanks, Dave. Well, Coach Boeheim had 2 main points for Syracuse at halftime. On offense, keep going to and through Jesse Edwards. He said, make Virginia defend him. And then on defense, he felt good about their defense, but he said get out a step further and a step quicker against Virginia. He's got to make them more uncomfortable.
Yeah, Dre, you're going to the practice yesterday, and Coach Boeheim, of course, was very involved in the scouting report and making sure guys were in their offensively this season.
That's going to be a tie-up on the play, and with the possession arrow, it'll go the other end of the floor. Tony Bennett, his 14th year at Virginia. He's won a national championship. He's been to 3 Final Fours. Might this group wind up in Houston in another Final Four?
They have the offense to do it. Not sure if they have the defense to do it, which is rare to ever say about Virginia. But offensively, when they won a national championship, that was the highest scoring team under Tony Bennett era. This team is right on their heels, over 70 points per game. Offense is not a problem for the Hoos.
Clark with the feed. Gardner airborne. Got it! And he'll be at the line. Looking for a 3-point play. Taylor fouled him. Gardner showing the wherewithal to get it to drop.
And one of the reasons why offense is not a problem for the Hoos is because they have not one but 2 great playmakers on this team. Kihei Clark putting the pass on the dime to Jaden Gardner, who scored over 2,000 points in his career. He knows how to get a bucket. Virginia offensively has all the necessary pieces to make a strong run in March.
There are many outstanding point guards in the country. And in Kihei Clark, you got a guy who has learned the art of the bounce pass. He's among the very best anywhere at the bounce speed. Edwards picks off the rebound, and a second effort here for the Orange. Taylor trying to get it back into Edwards. Maybe overdoing that directive on the run, and laid in on the dipsy-do by Franklin. And a timeout with 17:06 to go. And Virginia threatening to open it up a little bit here in the early moments of the second half, up 42-35. We were talking about Kihei Clark and the art of the bounce pass, and this is beautifully done. And I think of guys who did it well. How about a Gail Goodrich? And that's a name from the past you don't hear very often, but if you talk to Tony Bennett, that's one of the guys he idolized growing up. Turned out to be a great pro.
Absolutely did. Gail Goodrich, a.k.a. Stumpy.
Stumpy.
Stumpy, that was the nickname that he used to go by in his heyday. And Kihei Clark, you know, a smaller guard, similar to Tony Bennett. And Tony Bennett, of course, looked up to a lot of guys his size and lefties that he could emulate.
There's the record that he has achieved tonight. Minutes played in the ACC. He is number 1. The now 5'10 grad out of Woodland Hills, California, who for so long was 5'9. But he got tired of Stumpy, so they gave him 5'10. Shot clock at 10. Up top for Taylor, a collision and an offensive foul. So that'll go against Edwards, and he is slow to rise.
Second personal, team foul number 2.
Foul number 2, Jesse. Right now, Syracuse coming out of the locker room pretty choppy here in the second half.
Virginia's intensity defensively has picked up in the second half, making things a little more difficult for the Orange. I'm sure a heated conversation by Tony Bennett to his team in the halftime locker room, making sure they identify what their true identity is on the defensive end of the floor.
It just came free out of the hands of Clark. Just flung it up in the air. A rare turnover. He averages about 2 a game.
Amazing. Kihei Clark and Reese Beekman, number 1, number 2 in the ACC in assist turnover ratio. Beekman number 1, Kihei number 2. 2 short-handed playmakers, but that turnover leads to 2 points off the turnover for Malik Brown.
Brown continues to have a really strong night. Baseline Gardner going up strong, and he'll draw the foul as he took the hit. That'll be on Justin Taylor. We look at that assist to turnover ratio, number 1 in the country.
And when you've got 2 guys who are that good at it, when you think about Reese Beekman, Kihei Clark, Reese Beekman is number 1 in the ACC with 3.1 to 1 assist to turnover. Kihei Clark slacking behind him at 3.0 to 1 assist to turnover. So these 2 guys very short-handed with the basketball, and Tony Bennett extremely comfortable with the basketball in either of their hands.
Chris Bell replacing Justin Taylor, a freshman for a freshman for Jim Boeheim. 13 points for Gardner. Got most of those in about the first 10 minutes of the game, and then it slowed down, but he puts them on top 44-37. You just do not want to fall behind Virginia by very much, because it's straight uphill to get back in it. If you do, Girard hits the shot.
Joe Girard, at about 6 feet tall, plays much bigger than his size. Has the ability to be able to create space and shoot over top of smaller defenders.
Oh, what a pass underneath there by Clark. Vanderplas easily finishes that.
We talked to Tony Bennett pregame, asked him, hey, what is it about you that makes you put a 5'9" guy in the middle of the zone? You normally see a 6'8" guy in the middle there. He just raved about Kihei's playmaking ability, and he's putting it on display here today.
Pull up pop by Mintz. Got it! And hit as well, as he'll take the foul on the baseline. Such a variety of shots that Mintz can make. And we come back. He's going to be at the foul line looking for a 3-point play. It's Virginia on top, 46-41. Coming up, a championship orange when we return to the Dome. Syracuse men's soccer team all smiles before the game, and so is Coach Ian McIntyre, because they are the national champions. They brought the hardware to prove it. Got a nice ovation here, big ovation from the 20,000 or so in the house at the Dome, and addressed the crowd as well. To be a champion.
Absolutely. Congratulations to the Orange on a soccer championship. I was wondering previously, did they actually play in the Dome, play football in the Dome? Of course, you have enough space to be able to play soccer, but a dedicated soccer stadium here, outdoors,
yes,
here on campus.
That's right, over by Manley Fieldhouse. 46-42, Virginia. On the baseline, Gardner, another grab. Can't finish it, though. Almost rolled free away from Mintz, but he collects that.
Missed opportunity for Virginia there. They've done a great job really throwing over the top and finishing throughout this entire game. But getting a stop on this end of the floor now maybe gives Syracuse some life.
Chris Bell, who's barely played in the game, swishes in a triple to cut it to 1. He's made 39% beyond the three-point line. He can really shoot.
He can absolutely shoot the basketball. Jim Boeheim loves that about him, his ability to be able to stretch the floor.
Gardner again. Denied. Scoops it back up. Nowhere to go. Out to Beekman. Here comes another long run. And Syracuse with an opportunity to retake the lead. Mintz with a follow-away block by Beekman, right back to him. Edwards again for Mintz. Shot clock down to 5. And that one just tossed away. And got it back, Bell. Now it's free again. The shot clock expired. Virginia came up with it. 13:43 to go.
A very small thing, but by Chris Bell hustling to get to that basketball on the floor, Virginia gets a shot clock violation. But what Virginia does not get is a breakaway, easy layup points off of that turnover. So the effort and the hustle play by Bell possibly saving his team 2 points.
So the Cavaliers clinging to a 1-point advantage. Franklin catches, fires. Big rebound by Edwards, who comes in ripping down 10 per game. And they played 24 minutes in their loss to Virginia Tech over the weekend because of foul trouble. Syracuse working around the perimeter, now downstairs. It's Edwards banging. Rebound popped up. Edwards won it back. Bell will launch, and he's fouled. And the act of taking a long one, as he took the shove in the act of attempting a three-pointer.
Cade Cedric trying to get out. Of course, we talked about his shot blocking ability, trying to get out and defend a three-point shooter, but whenever you're lunging at the shooter, difficult to control your body and not pick up that foul.
And Francisco Caparo with the foul. And what a college basketball lineup we have for you Saturday on ESPN and the app. Kansas and Iowa State tip it off in Ames at noon Eastern, followed by Auburn and Tennessee. #1 Purdue, Indiana, then North Carolina and Duke squaring off at Cameron Indoor, followed by Florida and Kentucky. Gonzaga and St. Mary's caps the night at 10:30 Eastern. What a lineup. So Syracuse at the foul line on a 9-0 run retakes the lead, 48-46. McNeely working on Girard. 8 to shoot. Beekman. Van der Plas, he's going to fire that pass away. Out of bounds it goes. And
together for Virginia, Van der Plas was passing the basketball, but Shedrick, thinking he's shooting it, turns to try to get position for an offensive rebound, results in a turnover.
Edwards spinning, working, got it! He's at the line.
Jesse Edwards is a much better basketball player when someone down. You see he has the ability to put the ball on the floor, make it play, and then the ball fake, getting the shot blocker in the air, going through the contact, finishing, and now an opportunity to give the Orange a 5-point lead at the free throw line.
Caparo will come out. For the longest time, Francisco's name was being pronounced Cafaro. Shedrick there with the foul. And so at the line, Edwards, and drops it in. So 3-point play to make it 51-46. And it's a 12-0 run. Ryan Dunn getting in. Haven't seen much of him. Here's Clark. Down for Beekman. Clark thought about the three. He's going to loft one. He can't drill it. Rebound's going to be tipped up and in.
Big bucket by Bennett. Van der Plas coming in from the top of the key, picking up the offensive board in the second chance points to stop the bleeding for Virginia. But right now, Syracuse confident on the offensive end of the floor when Jesse Edwards gets the basketball.
And a shove there as Edwards is knocked just about out of bounds. 51-48, tight one here with about 11 minutes to go inside the dome.
Syracuse 51, Virginia 48.
Up in the mix, the main attraction. You don't want to miss. Ready for action. Up in the mix.
Sonic blockbuster, Duke and Carolina. And look at the leading scorers eating up to 22 points a game, coming off maybe his best game ever.
Yeah, another Sonic blockbuster involving Purdue. Another Sonic blockbuster, and Zach Edey, who is the leader right now for National Player of the Year, who has been spectacular all season long. Purdue is probably the best team I've seen live this year.
Bell can't hit. Great job there along the baseline to keep that one alive. Malik Brown, as he gets drilled.
Virginia foul line.
So, Obi, you talk about the game within the game. Malik Brown
Team foul number 6.
from Culpeper, Virginia, was not offered by Virginia because Virginia already had a commitment from Ryan Dunn. Games like this mean a little more to guys like a Malik Brown.
Dunn picked up the foul, but Syracuse can't connect. Jim Boeheim's team up by 3. Vanderplas way downtown. Bell with another rebound. And Chris Bell is giving Boeheim a nice lift here in the second half.
Well, he got the message. He was subbed out in the first minute of the first half, didn't play anymore in the first half. Justin Taylor got all the minutes. So Bell knew when he got his opportunities to get back in the game, he better take advantage of it, just like Judah Mintz takes advantage of getting a step on Reese Beekman.
Beekman picks up the personal, number 1.
Team limit of 7.
So it'll be Mintz at the line, where he makes 74%. He gets to the line a lot. He went to the line 13 times against Virginia Tech over the weekend.
Aggressive guard. Judah Mintz understands how to attack the rim, how to get downhill, and has the athleticism necessary to finish once he gets there.
Gardner back on here for Tony Bennett. And Dunn returns as well.
And you look at this Virginia lineup, Dunn at 6'7", Gardner at 6'7". This is a much smaller lineup. Jesse Edwards can find his way against this Virginia team when he gets the basketball in his hands. Look for Tony Bennett to bring the trap. But Jim Boeheim is going to make sure Jesse Edwards gets his hands on the basketball to be a playmaker for the Orange.
On the baseline, and great defense by Syracuse. And Edwards, a premier shot blocker.
Ryan Dunn didn't get the memo right there. Jesse Edwards leads the ACC in block shots.
That's right.
Make sure you give him a pump fake.
Clark way downtown, around and out. Rebound comes to Girard. Under 10 to go in the dome. Let the shot clock go down to 7. Girard around the back. Working on Kihei Clark. Can't sink it. They get it back. Mintz. And throws it away. Not many turnovers in this game. It's been pretty darn clean.
But you see right on that possession, Syracuse wants to get the ball into the hands of Jesse Edwards. Virginia doing a great job fronting, not giving him a look. And Syracuse really passing the basketball around the perimeter. Got a little too passive on that possession. You still want Judah Mintz and Joe Girard to be aggressive offensively while trying to get the basketball into the hands of Edwards.
Torrance on for Girard. And Virginia with it. They've missed 9 of their last 10. Not that time, though. Ryan Dunn out of the sky.
Athleticism on that back line. Virginia showed it with Caden Shedrick, and now they're showing it off with Ryan Dunn.
freshman from Freeport, New York.
Syracuse
And a timeout. This was a dandy.
It absolutely was. When you think about Kihei Clark, he understands how to find his guys. Bryant Dunn going way above the rim for the bucket.
Welcome back to Syracuse. Let's go inside the play. There's always a game within the game. You see Judah Mintz able to score up and over Kihei Clark, but then against the length of Reese Beekman. Same shot on the opposite side. He gets it blocked because Reese Beekman matches him in height, length, and athleticism. And what you don't see is after that, Judah Mintz drives to the basket and gets into the body of Reese Beekman instead. So making adjustments as you go for the freshman. He's learning, Corey.
Absolutely, and when you're going up against a guy like Reese Beekman, who in my opinion a year ago was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, but no defense for that. We talked about the size advantage for Jesse Edwards on the interior, and Syracuse taking advantage of it at the first opportunity.
It's been alley-oop city tonight in the Dome.
It has been Lob City here in Syracuse.
Knocked out by SU. Gardner leading the way for Virginia with 14. Mintz leading the way for Syracuse with 14. They just saluted Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts of the NFC champs. Is in the Dome here tonight. On his way to the Super Bowl after crushing the 49ers 31-7. Look at the move it done in tight. No, follows the miss. Another tip. Batted out by Edwards. Syracuse up 4. Bell won't wait.
You okay with that look if you're Syracuse? Adrian Autry told us earlier today, you've got to take every opportunity against Virginia.
Franklin with a misfire. Gardner wins that battle and draws the foul. He just tore that rebound away in the paint.
He absolutely did. Jaden Gardner getting in the mix with Jesse Edwards, just showing that Edwards may be taller, but Gardner is absolutely stronger in that matchup, ripping the basketball out of the hands of Jesse Edwards and getting to the free throw line.
Edwards with his third, so keep an eye on that with 8 minutes to go. And Gardner missed everything. Got another one coming. But the fans will ride him. Syracuse might have the biggest student section in the world.
And you see career free throws. The active Division I leader, Jaden Gardner, gets there often. I'm not sure he's ever shot an air ball, though. That is new. I've never seen that from him. Bounces back, knocks down the second one.
He's fortunate the students are on the other end in this half.
Yeah, I'm surprised that happens. You should have the opposing team facing the students in the second half, right?
Clark tried to tip, and out it goes with 7:53 to play in this contest. Syracuse on top by 3. We've got a timeout. Boeheim not delighted right now, but he kind of likes the score against the number 6 team in the country. A little nostalgia when we come back.
February 14th for a Valentine's matchup when they host.
Down memory lane, we get an opportunity to see the greats of Syracuse. You recognize one, Mike Tirico. We look a couple over to his right, to our left. It will be my guy, the notorious D.O.B. in his athletic form.
I don't know what that towel is for on my shoulder. It certainly didn't work up a sweat. I know Tirico did. Yeah, that was our Newhouse game. Our WAER radio station here is world famous, of course. Turned out a lot of great talent. Mike Tirico right at the top of that list, but Sean McDonough, Dave Pash.
My guy Doug Sherman in the mix.
Bob Costas, of course, a legend. Here's Franklin. On target from three-point land.
And he really has not been able to get going in this game. Part of the design of the Orange to take Franklin out of the mix, not giving him good looks, but out of the timeout is able to knock down a big one.
Tied at 54. Edwards cross court, Taylor. Nearly threw it away. Shot clock at 8. Mintz back to the big. Out of the double. Down to 3 now to the baseline. Taylor's going to get it in the air. He did beat the clock. Now Virginia to run. McNeely over the top for Dunn. And a whistle there on the baseline. And a foul. That'll go against Mintz. As Virginia looked for a spectacular dunk. Boeheim disgusted with the call. Non-shooting. The crowd howling in the dome as Virginia will have possession. .650 to go. Virginia so patient.
Obi, you see Virginia operating under 10 seconds on the shot clock. Business as usual.
Gardner kicks. McGilly, no. Guns battling, won it back. Gardner missed short. It's tipped out, will stay down here. Cavaliers relentless on the glass. Still tied at 54. And looking ahead, some upcoming games for Syracuse and Virginia on ACC Network. Orange at Connie Ford at Chestnut Hill Saturday. Next Tuesday, Cavaliers and NC State. Here's Gerard on the loose. He lays it and can't hit the shot. A big scrap for that rebound and a foul. With 6:05 to go.
And the crowd unhappy with what's transpiring. However, on that possession, Joe Girard is challenged by a 5'9" Kihei Clark. There's no foul. There should not have been a call. They don't like the fact that Samir Torrance gets the foul on this possession. But Joe Girard has to finish that off. Important possession. And it's not as though he's going up against Caden Shedrick. That's Kihei Clark at 5'9" trying to block his shot. That should have been 2 points for the Orange.
Long one coming, and nothing but net by Franklin as he knocks down a three.
Huge response. Armand Franklin knocking down 2 3-pointers here as of late, and he's been the difference maker for Virginia here in this second half.
Edwards and draws the foul. Going up against Shedrick. And that'll put Edwards to the line. With Virginia up by 3.
But what was a 3-point Syracuse lead becomes a Virginia 3-point lead with back-to-back 3-point field goals by Armand Franklin. And right now, Tony Bennett having to make offensive, defensive decisions. Does he keep Jaden Gardner on the floor, who is going to help him offensively, but may struggle defensively? And on the other end of the floor, Caden Shedrick, who doesn't help him much on the offensive end of the floor, but can help him defensively, picks up the foul.
Edwards makes 1 of 2. Mintz back in now for Boeheim. And a 2-point game. Virginia with a 6-game win streak on the line. Poked away by Mintz. The freshman drives it and lays it in. And we're tied again. Quick movement here for Franklin. This one too strong. Big rebound by Brown. Malik Brown, the freshman from Virginia, has really put a stamp on this one.
And right now, you want the basketball in the hands of Jesse Edwards. See what Virginia's, how they're going to guard it.
Doubled every time he touches it. Mintz mid-range as he gets hit. He's fouled by Reese Beekman.
But Obi, the difference as to why Judah Mintz is able to get a step on a great defender like Reese Beekman is because Beekman has to close out to be able to take Judah Mintz off the line. You see the defensive adjustments. the tales of the two halves between these two teams, shooting percentages basically cut in half for both teams when you look at the way they started out in the first half compared to what the second half has looked like.
Mintz makes 74% at the line. Missed the pair. 57 all. Back out for Clark. Downstairs, Monteplas with a tough catch. Beekman drives, flips, and takes the foul. That'll be on Edwards. And that'll be number 4 on the 6'11", Jesse Edwards.
And Doug Sermon's right on top of it. Again, not going to be a popular call here. The fact that Jesse Edwards was standing straight up, but the reality behind it is when you get into that restricted area, if you don't jump as a defender, verticality's out the window. You have to leave the floor and then automatic call.
Beekman, 84% foul shooter. 59-57 Virginia. Virginia's already won the first meeting between the two earlier in the month. Cavaliers have only lost one game this season at home. Edwards again. Trying to get out of that double and draws another foul. With 3:40 to go.
Syracuse getting the job done defensively. Judah Mintz turning defense into offense. The finish. And Syracuse right now loving what they're seeing from the home team.
Current season ticket holders can now place a $25
LJ Cryer and Baylor with a big challenge next to Texas.
Yeah, 1/3 of the best offensive backcourt in the country. 21 points a game over his last 2.
Meantime, over on ESPN2, top of the hour, big shot maker Gabe Kalsher in Iowa State.
Gabe Kalsher's made 19 of his last 36 three-point attempts. He shoots it like Corey Alexander did back in the day.
Appreciate the love, of course, always. My man Seth Greenberg back in the studio as we get a look at our Wouldn't Watch the ACC guys on the list, OB.
Wendy's Wouldn't Watch with Armando Bacot and Caleb Love there, Filipowski, Wong, and Smith. ACC players on the midseason top 25. And here in Syracuse, it'll be Edwards at the line. With Virginia leading by 2. Syracuse only 8 for 15 now at the foul line.
Edwards was 3 for 4 before this opportunity. Now 4 for 6 from the line. 1-point game. And Syracuse locked in defensively, making it difficult for Virginia in the second half to find good looks.
Cavaliers have turned it over 14 times, which is 5 more than their average. They came in with just 9 per game, number 4 in the country. Nothing new there.
Well, Virginia only averaging 9.2 turnovers a game. 14 turnovers for them.
That ties the season high. Monteplas, big dribble, going in hard. Can't cash in though. Second effort, however. Clark gets a long look and he drills a 3. So at the 3-minute mark, it's Virginia 62, Syracuse 58.
It'll be interesting to see if Bennett Vanderplas came in from out of bounds on that possession to get that offensive rebound, if that bucket should have actually counted.
Virginia 9 for 20 from 3. Backing down Edwards and a travel.
As the shot went up, Bennett Vanderplas takes it to the basket, unable to finish it. He's out of bounds and then comes back in without play being established and then picks it up. I'm no official, But I know a lot of officials out there watching. One of them, please text me and let me know if that was legal.
We saw him jump in, wait for the bounce. And touched it. Clark deep in the backcourt as they trap him, and a whistle and a timeout.
Yeah, the timeout by Tony Bennett. Virginia will have 4 seconds to get it across half court here. We talked with Adrian Autry earlier about the pressure that they like to bring in the full court pressure when they trap Virginia. I mentioned earlier in the game where Virginia had an 18-point lead in the Elite Eight versus Syracuse. Syracuse goes to the full court pressure, end up winning that game back in 2016 to go to the Final Four. Jim Boeheim only uses it sparingly, but right here, 2:36 remaining, brought the full court pressure out, slowed down Virginia, and now an opportunity to get a turnover here. Definitely taking some time off the Virginia shot clock.
You tip of the cap to Jalen Hurts, still here.
Got a great game, OB.
Well, he had a big one yesterday.
Yesterday, that's old news, man. He's got 2 weeks to try to get that shoulder right for the Super Bowl.
A very solid year, 22 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions. Hoops fan.
Of course, you know I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, die hard.
I know that hurts
but
you. Yeah.
I do love Jalen Hurts. Respect everything that he did at Alabama. Short time here. Oh.
That'll be Mintz with a foul on the baseline.
Yeah, Judah Mintz bailing out Kihei Clark on that possession.
His second personal, 18 foul.
So 2:35 remaining.
1-1.
That'll bring up a 1-1. And coming up, Baylor and Texas stay right where you are. Big 12 matchup. And two of the top teams in the conference. Texas just went down to Tennessee and took one on the chin. Of course, Virginia is one of the great defensive teams in the country. I haven't seen anybody better than Tennessee on that side.
Yeah, Rick Barnes, of course, playing in the Barnes Bowl in that game. They lost at Texas last season, so avenging that loss back on his home floor now in Tennessee. But, of course, Rick Barnes coaching both programs. You and Dickie V hanging out on that game. I tried to watch it. They had the sound off in the Sky Club, so I couldn't hear you, but I did see.
Glad you were with us. Great environment there at Thompson Bowling. 64-58, Virginia. Virginia only 9 foul shots, but they made 7. Edwards again. Here's Girard back in. Can't hit. Races for the rebound. Mintz looking to penetrate. Scoops it and hits. Fast approaching 2 minutes to go.
And once again, the full court pressure. Kihei Clark trying to split it. They're going to say Justin Taylor touched it last. And it's not under 2 minutes, so still can't go review that yet.
2:08. So Virginia to check it in.
Still only 2 seconds to get it across half court for Reese Beekman. Is Tony Bennett's going to call the timeout?
So timeout Virginia. We'll take a look at that play. Taylor looked like he swatted away and nobody else got to it before it went out. So it looks like they got it right.
And that timeout will buy Virginia a new 10 seconds. So by taking the timeout, now they have more than the 2 seconds to get it across half court. Appreciate my guy Doug Sermons coming over, allowing us to know. And speaking of Doug Schaus, Kip Kissinger, Doug Sermons done a great job in this game. The first time we're really mentioning them. And of course, when this is the first time you're mentioning the officials, they've done a great job throughout this one. Take our hats off to them for a stellar performance here thus far tonight.
Yeah, with 2 minutes to go. In a game such as this, first half was outstanding, and here we come right down to the end here in the second half, with Virginia leading 64-60. And it'll be Cavalier basketball. Cavaliers taking their time. Here's Clark to launch. Big fight for the rebound. Still loose. And a foul against Virginia. Vanderplas will pick up number 5.
And Bennett Vanderplas really just trying to hustle after the basketball. But Judah Mintz getting his hands on it. And a smart play by Judah to take the fall, gets the call, an opportunity to put 2 points on the board without the clock moving.
It's his second foul. I should say his third. And Mintz sinks the first.
And right now, Syracuse moving back, no longer up in the full court pressure. A one-possession game. Jim Boeheim can go back into the zone now, down 2, and try to get a stop the traditional way. But the full court pressure did its job.
1:40 to go. Six to shoot. Turnaround on the baseline. Won't fall there for Gardner. And Syracuse down 2 with the rock.
Enough time to try to get the basketball into the hand of Jesse Edwards. Allow him to be the playmaker. Play inside out.
Wants to shoot it. Big collision. Offensive foul. They'll get Edwards for the charge.
And even more damaging, that is the 5th foul on Jesse Edwards. He picks up the offensive foul, attacking the basket. And he will be disqualified from the game. 14 points for Edwards.
Exactly 1 minute to play. And they lose a big.
Number 55, Mounir Hema will check in for Syracuse.
Mounir Hema, 6'11" sophomore, comes into the ball game. He's been sitting all night.
But I love this right here. Jim Boeheim coaching up Jesse Edwards. Understand you have 4 fouls. In that position, you've got the double team. Move the basketball, pass the ball. You have created an opportunity for your teammates by having 2 guys having to come defend you.
Under a minute. Franklin averaging 13 a game. Really good beyond the 3 at 41%. Clark gets 39. Gardner pull-up pop. Sinks it. Big Gardner money there.
Big bucket for Jaden Gardner. He's been good all night, but he was great on that possession.
Boy, Mintz nearly turned it over. 17 for Gardner with 6 rebounds. Gerard for Mintz. 19 seconds to go. That won't drop. Gardner with the rebound. At excellent position and a foul here against Syracuse. And Malik Brown will stop the clock with 13.6 to go.
And it's looking like another missed opportunity for the Orange. We rewind back 6 days. They had North Carolina on this floor where Jim Boeheim and his staff feel like they gave a game away and they were unable to close it out. And right here in this one as well, made it a 1-possession game, down 2. And then tough shots, turnovers down the stretch have hurt the Orange.
Been a recurring issue all season long. And trying to pick off an opponent like Virginia and gained a huge win, unable to do it. 67-62. Mintz has to get one in the air. Can't hit it. Final seconds. Virginia win it. They can celebrate a win tonight here inside the Dome. Hard fought. And they win it by a final score of 67-62.
Great teams find a way to win even when they don't play well. Virginia is showing that they're a great team by doing so here tonight.
7-game winning streak now for the Cavs as we take a look at the Capital One rewarding performance.
ACC football schedule was released. released earlier tonight. You look up on the video board, the football.
That rewarding performance is Virginia on the offensive end of the floor, moving the basketball, the patience, the poise. Even when the shot clock goes under 5 seconds, Virginia will not be sped up. They get exactly what they want.
So Virginia comes into the Dome and picks up their 17th victory of the season. They are now 9-2 in the ACC. Syracuse falling to 13-10, 6-6 in conference play, and in the end, the number 6 team in the country prevails. Let's go to Dre along with a special guest.
Jaden, congratulations on the win. The longest active win streak in the ACC continues. What did it take to get the win tonight?
It took a lot of poise. I think you saw in the first half we was very tired. So, defense was wavering, but we had a great poise down the stretch here in the second half, and we was able to finish out the game.
Speaking of great poise, you had 17 points. That's an ACC high for you. What was working for you on offense?
Just getting to my spots. They play zone. My teammates trusted me, so it's all about setting each other up, and that's what they did tonight.
Congratulations on the win, Jaden.
Thank you.
And stay tuned for Baylor and Texas. That's coming up next here on ESPN. For Andrea Carter and Corey Alexander and our entire crew, I'm Dave O'Brien. Thanks so much for joining us. 67-62, Virginia with the win inside the Dome. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, OB, and we are just about 6 minutes away from a terrific one in the Big 12. Top 11 matchup. Baylor going on the road to take on Timmy Allen and the Texas Longhorns, and over on ESPN2, an equally terrific Big 12 matchup. Kevin O'Banner and Texas Tech. Yet to win a Big 12 game. Do they break through tonight against Iowa State? That one coming your way in a matter of moments. LaFonso Ellis, Coach Seth Greenberg, Kevin Connors here in studio. Another agonizing loss for Syracuse. 1 week ago was North Carolina. Tonight it's Virginia. How did the